So this question number 1 on the review packet that I gave you, you'll see that the first thing I'm asking you to do is write an equation for this parabola in vertex form. So as soon as you see that word vertex form, look for the vertex. And I see that it's right there at -5, 3. So the vertex is -5, 3. And vertex form of any parabola is like this. And so where H and K are the vertex. So right now I know that x minus -5 plus k, and since minus -5 really is plus, I know that I could write this as y equals, maybe a is a value, so I'll leave that a little space for that, x plus 5 squared plus, and then 3 is the k value. And then I check to see if A is just normal A or if I'm going to have to go find A. And I see here that when I go up 1 and over 1, that I get back on that line. Or if I go over 2, I go up 4 and I'm back on the graph. So that means A is just a value of 1. So there's my equation. So let me write that a little bit nicer. The equation is y equals 1 times x plus 5 squared plus 3. And it says write an equation for this parabola in standard form. So if I already know that the equation is y equals x plus 5 squared, if I want to write it in standard form, I would take that y equals x plus 5 squared plus 3 and expand it out, because remember standard form is going to end up looking like something like this, only a, b, and c will actually be numbers. So to expand that out, remember that x plus 5 squared is x squared plus 10x plus 25. Some of you are forgetting that middle term. Just a side note, if you're forgetting it, remember that normally if you had a square and one side was x plus 5 and the other side was x plus 5, you'd find the area of each of those things and then you would add them together, and that's how we get that 10x. Okay, and then the last thing I would have to do is just combine the like terms, and I only have 25 plus 3 as like terms, so there's my equation in standard form. So x squared, what was it, plus 10x plus 28. There. Now the question is asking us to find f of -7. So what that means, because this whole graph here is f of x, that means the graph is called f and the independent variable is x. I'm looking for when x equals -7 where I am on the y-axis. So here's -7 and here's the point, which means that f of -7 is equal to 6, because that's what it equals when I look at -7 on the x-axis. Okay, so now it says find x when f of x is 4. Okay, this is asking you to do the opposite. This is saying now look when y is 4 and determine what x is at that point. So I'm looking up here for when y is 4, and I see there's 2 points where that happens. One of them is at -4, and the other one's at -6. So I have 2 answers for that. -4 and -6. Of course, you could solve it algebraically, but you can also just look at the graph. It's much quicker. Domain and range. So now we're looking at the parabola. Domain is all the x values, which I can see x can be anything. So the answer for domain is all real numbers. And range, I'm looking at y values, and I notice here that y is always greater than or equal to 3. So the range is dealing with the y values. I would just say y is greater than or equal to 3. For number 2, you can go to the next video.